Good morning students. Let us continue our lesson 3rd, safety and first aid. In my previous video I told you about safety and learn about the safety rules like safety on road, safety from fire and how to handle fire breaks. Now today I am going to explain you in this lesson. Next topic is first aid. So what is a first aid? So we should always be careful and try to avoid accidents. But if an accident happens, the injured person need to be given medical help before the doctor's arrival. So this immediate help given to an injured person before the doctor arrives is called a first aid. So it is a clear what is a first aid? It means first help given to an injured person before the doctor arrives is called a first aid. And first aid is a very essential for injured persons because first aid can save the life of an injured person and first aid can give a relief to the patient in minor injuries like cuts and burns. And the most important things, when we give the first aid for injured person, so we should give first aid with clean hands. If we give the first aid with dirty hands, so it may cause infections. So we should give the first aid with clean hands. And first aid is different for different kinds of injuries. So let us learn how to give first aid in different types of accidents like first aid for cuts and scratches, first aid for burns, first aid for sprains, first aid for nose bleeding, first aid for animal bite and first aid. So first we explain here first aid for cuts and scratches. So in case of cut and scratches, first wash the wound with clean water and clean the blood with cotton wool soaked in antiseptic lotion like Dettol or Savlon, and then cover the wound with clean cotton dressing to stop the bleeding. And if the person falls on the dirty road or gets cut with a rusted iron object, rusted iron मतलब जिस आयरन में जंग लग जाती है, जो काफ़ी दिनों तक पड़ा रहता है आयरन, उसमें जंग लग जाती है, तो उसको हम बोलते हैं रस्टेड आयरन ऑब्जेक्ट. सो ही शुड डू टेक एन एंटी टिटनेस इंजेक्शंस because it dirt and germs enter into the blood, it may cause a disease called tetanus. So this is a first aid for cuts and scratches. Next, first aid for burns. So in case of minor burns, first apply ice on cold water or running water from the tap on the burnt area, and after that apply the antiseptic cream to avoid the infections. And if severe burns, so what we should do? So in case of severe burns, first make the patient lie down on a clean bed sheet and take the patient to a doctor or a hospital immediately. Sometimes blisters means chala. So sometimes blisters appear on the burnt area. So we do not prick the blisters because when we prick the blisters, so germs will enter through the blister and they can cause infection. So we should do not prick the blisters. And next, first aid for sprain. Sprain it means मोच आ जाना. मोच कैसे आती है? So a sudden fall or hit on a particular organ cause sprain. And sprain is the twisting and swelling of the joints, such as the ankle gets twisted and swell up. And in a sprain, tissue around the twisted joints are damaged, and this causes a lot of pain. So for first aid, a cold ice pack should be used, and later on you can apply pain reliever spray on the sprain. So this is a first aid for sprain. Next, first aid for nose bleeding. So you know, during the summers, bleeding from the nose is a very common problem with children. So now follow these steps to give first aid in case of nose bleeding. So first of you, make the patient to sit on a chair comfortably, and his and her nose tightly. They can breathe through the mouth for some times, and after that keep an ice pack on the nose firmly to stop the blood flow, and ask the patient to the breathe through his mouth. So do not allow him to blow his nose. And in case of severe bleeding, so take the patient to the doctor immediately. So this is the first aid for nose bleeding. Next, first aid for fracture. So first of all, explain here what is the meaning of the fracture. Fracture, it means any break or crack in the bone is called a fracture. So the fracture bone causes a lot of pain. The affected area may swell up and the person will not able to move the fractured part. So in case of a fracture, make the victim lie down and take a piece of cardboard or any hard base, tie the cardboard with a piece of cloth around the fractured hand, because it gives the supports and restrict the movement of the fractured bone. If in case of a hand fracture, so a sling is used to restrict the movement. So what is the meaning of the sling? Sling is a triangular piece of cloth. Its sling is used to support the broken hand. So this is a first aid for fracture. Next, first aid for animal bite. So animal bite can be very dangerous, because the saliva of animals like dogs, cats, monkey and cat contains the viruses, and these viruses enter the victim body through the animal saliva. When these animals bite someone, they cause rabies to the victim. So it is a very important to treat the animal bites immediately. Like first clean the wound with soap and water, because this will wash up the saliva, and then take the victim to the doctor immediately, and the doctor may give anti-rabies injections. So this is a first aid for animal bite. Next, first aid for snake bite. So snake bite, when snakes like cobra or crate bite someone, so they are inject poison to the victim's body. So this poison travels through the blood and affect the heart and brain. So this can be a very fatal too. So in case of snake bite, you should take follow measures, like to stop the flow of blood to the heart and brain, apply a tight bandage just above the bite, and keep the victim unmoved. If any kind of movement will cause the poison to spread faster in the victim's body, and the victim should be immediately taken to a doctor, and because doctor may give the patient an anti-venom injections. Anti-venom injection, which means a biological product used in the treatment of the venomous bites. So this is a first aid for snake bite. So now next is first aid for poisoning. Poisoning, it means naphthalene balls, pesticides for killing the rats, insects, paints, detergents, medicines, kerosene. These are the poisonous substances, and these substances should be kept out of to reach of the children's. So someone has eaten the poison, then what will we do for that? So with that try to make the victim vomit immediately, because when victim vomit immediately, so that the poison comes out of the stomach. And next steps is rush the victim to a hospital or doctor without wasting the time. So that's all for today. Keep revising.